Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Discord, or possibly the beginning of the end of Discord. So yesterday, Discord made a pretty huge announcement that does not seem to be sitting well at all with Discord users. And this information is right up on their website. Discord launches teen by default settings globally. So for those who are unaware, here's some of the announcement. Discord is announcing enhanced teen safety features rolling out globally that reinforce its long-standing commitment to creating a safer and more inclusive experience for users over the age of 13. As part of this update, all new and existing users worldwide will have a teen-appropriate experience by default, with updated communication settings, restricted access to age-gated spaces, and content filtering that preserves the privacy and meaningful connections that define Discord. They go on to say, beginning with a phased global rollout to new and existing users in early March. Users may be required to engage in an age verification process to change certain settings or access sensitive content. This includes age-restricted channels, servers, or commands and select message requests. So based on this information, Discord seemingly will require people to verify themselves via facial recognition or sending them identification. And this is not sitting well with a number of people for a number of big reasons, one in specific. So just a few months back on October 3rd, and I think we talked about this one in a previous video, Discord posted this on their website regarding data that was compromised. Update on a security incident involving third-party customer service. And yes, it involves age verification. So they say here, of the accounts impacted globally, we have identified approximately 70,000 users that may have had government ID photos exposed, which our vendor used to review age-related appeals. Now, Discord claims corrective actions have been taken here, but at the same time, I would argue they do not have a squeaky clean track record when it comes to user privacy because of this. Additionally here, some people are claiming that Discord is selling user data. So this person here says, do not send Discord your face ever. The ones that bought Discord are already selling your info in every single chat message to literally everyone, LMAO. Tested with a few friends on a fresh account and fresh machines. 4 different topics, all very different. All got recommended feeds based on those literally the following day. Now, there are some people who are making light of the situation, like this person here who says you can now use Gmod to verify your age, by the way. Just taking a look at if that works, that's hilarious. Let me know your thoughts about that one in the comments below. I don't know if this is a joke or if this actually works, but if it works. Now, on a side note, what I find personally interesting is something that I don't think requires age verification, and that is giving Discord money for Discord Nitro. Go figure. So at the end of the day here, it does appear that this proposed change by Discord will be pushing quite a few people off the platform, and I'm not at all surprised about that one. If you are, let me know in the comments below. But I'm curious to see what the overall numbers are once the dust settles on this one, and there are some alternatives being talked about. Some people are talking about using TeamSpeak again. Some people are talking about Stoat, which was formerly known as Revolt. It did get rebranded because I think of a cease and desist or something. And also Matrix. Now, unfortunately, at this point in time, I don't know what's going to be the most popular service when everything is all said and done. If I were to guess, I would say TeamSpeak here. It does seem to be the front runner in alternatives for Discord. Alternatively, I think Stoat might be a nice runner-up, and followed by Matrix. Again, we're going to have to wait to see. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and if you're switching off Discord, what service are you switching to? And speaking about switching, next up we're talking about a multi-system emulator that lets users switch between a whole bunch of different systems. That was a really brutal segue. I tried. If you know something better, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, here, Clock Signal is also known as CLK or Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, depending on how you wanted to interpret that. And it's an emulator that seeks to be invisible. Users directly launch classic software, avoiding the learning curves associated with emulators and with classic machines. And CLK got a brand new update. So they say here that this release improves composite decoding on the Mac and significantly improves the entire video pipeline on OpenGL targets to give it the same quality of composite decoding as on the Mac, to reduce aliasing in all video modes, and better to fit the emulated machine to whatever window shape you select. It also better unifies this emulator's use of the two APIs to try to avoid one falling behind the other again in the future. So taking a look here, they show the outgoing OpenGL, they show the previous Mac Metal, and they show the current output, so you can check that out to learn more about this one. If you are interested and wanted to learn more about this one, like everything we talk about, links are within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. Next up, we're still talking about emulation, but switching over to Xbox 360 stuff and talking about Xenia Manager. For those who are unaware, Xenia Manager is a user-friendly tool designed to simplify the use of Xenia Emulator. It streamlines game management, patch installation, and configuration, all through an intuitive interface. And Xenia Manager got a big update here with a big announcement. So at the time of filming, version 3.4.0 is the latest and greatest update. And if you use achievements, you're probably going to like this part. It now properly handles broken achievement data. On top of that, they've added full Polish language support. And they've also updated their libraries. Now taking a look, here is the big announcement. So they say the project will move away from using WPF UI to Avalonia UI to improve the compatibility with Proton Wine. So Xenia Manager more than likely is going to get a new look and feel. This is currently in development though and hasn't launched just yet. They also say they're hopefully going to integrate controller navigation support. Not promising anything, but this is the main new feature they're aiming for alongside the port to the new UI library. And speaking about new stuff, next up we're switching from software to hardware here and talking about Ayaneo. And Ayaneo has just announced the Next 2, the new flagship Windows handheld for the future. So taking a look here, it does have touchpads on it. It does look really interesting. And it features an AMD Ryzen AI Max 395, but there's an option for a 385. The screen on this thing is going to be a 9.06-inch 2400 by 1504 OLED. It will have two fans. The battery on this one is 116 watt-hours. And this part I'm a little bit confused with. They say first Windows handheld with adjustable torque TMR joysticks, Hall effect joysticks, which are different than TMR, Hall linear trigger and combo, smooth and precise control. So I don't know if they're using TMR joysticks or Hall effect joysticks, or maybe one is TMR and the other one's Hall effect. I don't know. Very weird. Anyways, it's also going to have Hall linear triggers, dual trigger locks, and flexible mode switching, and a floating 8-way D-pad. The Next 2 will come in two different colorways, at least currently, and that is white and black. It's already up on Indiegogo here and has already raised over $120,000 with 49 backers. But the price on this, well, you might be surprised. So the Next 2 with the AI 395, 64 gigs of RAM, that's a ton. 1 terabyte of storage here will set you back $2,300 or $2,299 if you wanted to be specific. And there's also a cheaper version here if that one's too expensive. It does feature the AI 385, 32 gigs of RAM, which is still plenty, and 1 terabyte of storage for $1,800 or $1,799. And then the fully loaded version here, I'll say, with an AI 395, a whopping 128 gigs of RAM and 2 terabytes of storage for $3,500 or $3,499. I mean, these things are not cheap at all. So let me know your thoughts about the Ayaneo Next 2 in the comments below. I mean, taking a look here, I'm a huge fan of the 395. I think it's an awesome chip. 64 gigs of RAM is awesome too. That's a whole ton of RAM. But the price, I mean, that to me is a tough pill to swallow, and I'd probably dial back the specs here and just pick up a different device because I don't think I could stomach paying $2,300. And speaking about hardware, next up here we're talking about the Anbernic RG Vita, and the Fox is a brand new video here showcasing the Anbernic RG Vita, which seems to be a Vita in name only. So taking a look at the specs here, and this is for the non-pro version, but the non-pro version features a Unisoc T618 CPU and 3 gigs of RAM. Vita emulation on this is probably a no-go. I mean, the Fox here points out that the specs closely resemble the RG 505, which was released a few years back and has 4 gigs of RAM, but the same Unisoc T618. Now, I don't know about you here, but calling this thing the RG Vita is a little bit misleading. At least that's what I would say. Does it look like a Vita? Yeah, absolutely. But does it play like a Vita? Absolutely not. Completely different. I mean, I would argue it's not even a great experience for Vita games. But feel free to check out the review if you are interested in learning more about it, and if you are, you know where the links are. And speaking about upcoming stuff, next up we're switching back from hardware to software and talking about Monster Hunter. And listen to this headline up on Insider Gaming. Monster Hunter Wilds is getting a large-scale expansion like Iceborne and Sunbreak. Now, from my understanding here, this is worth pointing out as well. This huge expansion is currently in development and not a part of this upcoming February 18th update. And speaking about games, next up here we're talking about 2XKO. And if you're a fan of 2XKO, you're probably not going to like this announcement. If you're not aware of 2XKO, well, it's a fighting game. It's a free-to-play fighting game from Riot, and it doesn't seem like it's been meeting expectations. So they posted this announcement right on the Riot Games website. They say, "Hey everyone, I wanted to take a moment to share an important update on 2XKO. This is a difficult update to share, but we want to be clear about what's changing and why. After a lot of discussion and reflection, we are reducing the size of the 2XKO team." They say that the decision wasn't made lightly, and as they expanded from PC to console, we saw consistent trends in how players were engaging with 2XKO. The game has resonated with a passionate core audience, but overall momentum hasn't reached the level needed to support a team of this size long term. But let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. If you play 2XKO, what do you think about this announcement? And what do you think about the future of 2XKO? I would say this puts the future of the game in serious question. Next up, we're switching from games not on Steam to games on Steam and talking about a huge sale on Steam right now known as the PvP Fest. If you're a fan of PvP games, including fighting games, you may be a big fan of this fest right now because a ton of games are on sale. Like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 6, there's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and even more. Next up here, we're talking about a brand new ROM hack for an old game. J-League Winning Goal was originally released back on the NES. And there's a brand new ROM hack for it called FC26, and you bet it modernizes a few things. So if you're a fan of soccer or football, you might be a big fan of this ROM hack. Full details are up on romhacking.net, and if you are interested and wanted to learn more about this one, again, like everything we talk about, you know where the links are. And continuing to talk about games for older systems, next up here we're talking about Pitchfork. Pitchfork is a game up on itch.io, and it's a fork-based platformer for Game Boy and PC. So Pitchfork is currently on sale for a whopping £1, and it looks like it's also playable in a browser. And speaking about stuff for the Game Boy and stuff that's currently 50% off, last up here, we're talking about Sword of the Apocalypse. And this is a brand new homebrew game for the Game Boy Color, and I think this one looks absolutely fantastic. And it's priced at $3. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.